YouTube channel. If you're new here, hi, hello, my name's Amy, I live in Essex, I'm 27 and I'm a mum to a 9-month-old baby called Brodie. So in this video I'm going to do my whole labour and delivery story. It was 9 months ago, so it's still fairly in my head, but I have made some notes on my phone just in case, just to prompt me, because I don't want to miss anything. I had a really bad labour. I was like obsessed with watching these videos when I was pregnant. Not everyone's labour is going to be as bad as mine is. Some people have amazing labours and I'm really jealous because I really wish mine went a lot more smoothly than what it did. But from start to finish my labour was 58 hours long and a lot happened. And I just wanted to share because I was very arrogant during my whole pregnancy. I was like, that's never going to happen to me. I'm going to have a water birth. I'm going to have just gas and air, maybe not even gas and air, like drug-free water birth. Everything's going to go smoothly. I'm going to have no problems. That's never going to happen to me. And the complete opposite happened and I really wasn't prepared and I really wish I was. Yeah, I just want to share my experience. So I really hope you enjoy. I'm going to try and make sure this video isn't too long. I may have to cut some bits out, but I really would like to include everything if I can. So I've got my cup of tea and so let's begin. I actually didn't give birth to Brodie until 9 days overdue, so almost 2 weeks. So I'll start from my due date. So I got to my due date and I had, so this is going to include very TMI information. If you're very squeamish and you don't want to know TMI, then please click off now because I'm going to include everything. On my due date, I woke up just doing housework or whatever you do when you're on your due date and you're waiting for a baby to come along. Felt some water come out of me. And so I went to the bathroom. There's like a pool of water in my underwear. And I was like, Sam. I called Sam and I was like, Sam, I think my waters broke. So I think Sam come home from work. I can't remember. I think I either called Sam or Sam was already here. Anyway, but I called the birth centre at the hospital. And so I think my waters have gone. It's my due date today. But I've got no contractions and they told me to go in anyway so they can check if it was actually my waters. So I went in, they checked them, long story cut short, apparently it wasn't my waters and we come home. Then I was 4 days off overdue, I had my first sweep and my midwife was like, I really shouldn't be, I might not see you for your next appointment, like you may have a baby by then. No, I was overdue, so there I was at my midwife appointment. And she gave me a sweep and to be honest it didn't really hurt, it wasn't uncomfortable. I mean you're going to push out a baby so you can't moan at a sweep. But she said I was maybe about 1 centimetre dilated but my cervix was really high up still, it wasn't thinned out at all. So I got a little bit excited because I'm already 1 centimetre dilated, like, and I've got no contractions. Which means for a second sweep at 6 days overdue, just in case this one didn't work. I ended up going from the next one on the Wednesday and that one really did hurt. She told me afterwards she gave me a really good sweep and it really felt like it as well. Of my bloody show come away I think on that sweep. There was like blood on her hands afterwards, TMI, sorry. And I remember I went to get my nails done, I think it was that day afterwards, and I was very uncomfortable. I didn't feel right. But that's how you are when you're overdue and you're pregnant. So I went home. Fast forward, Wednesday night about 9:30, me and Sam was in bed watching Love Island and I started getting pains in my back and I didn't say nothing for the first 20 minutes. But it was coming like every 5-6 minutes I want to say. And I was like, I think I'm getting contractions. And that was very mild. It was like a period pain, like the mildest of period pains, just coming and going in my back. So we carried on watching Love Island. I started getting a little bit nervous then. I was like, oh, it's happening, it's happening. Obviously I knew I was having a baby, but when it actually happens, you're like, whoa, it's actually happening, I'm having a baby. So I was awake all night timing them contractions and they didn't really get any worse. A little bit, but nothing I couldn't handle. And Sam was like sound asleep next to me and I'm up timing these contractions. I think I called the hospital the next morning and I was like, I've been having contractions all night, they're about 5 minutes apart, and they told me just to go in to be checked over just to see how much I was dilated because I was 6 days overdue. So I think we got there and I was still 1.5 centimetres. Oh, I'd gone up 0.5 centimetre. I think I was measuring about 1.5 centimetres. And I was told to literally go home, keep active and rest. It makes no sense. They tell you to rest but then keep active at the same time. Anyway, so I come home, I remember having a pizza in bed and I fell asleep. Like, I'm going to need energy, this is just early labour. And I remember waking up and the contractions had got probably about 3 times worse. Because I'd done the wrong thing by going to sleep. Thursday, sorry. And I just remember bouncing on the ball, and then Sam decided he wanted to attach the snooze pod to the side of the bed because we'd had it up. But he hadn't actually attached it to the side of the bed. We wasn't planning on moving it anywhere else. So he started panicking and started attaching the snooze pod to the side of the bed while I'm standing at the window here swaying in a heat wave, timing my contractions, and he's trying to make me laugh, and I'm like, please don't make me laugh. Please do not make me laugh while I'm contracting. I'll always remember that. I've got some photos, I think, on video, and I'll insert them now. And we started putting Brodie's little Avenger teddies inside the crib, and yeah, I was laughing saying he's already here. Anyway, I'm rambling on. So then time went on. That day was a bit of a blur really. It got to about 10, 11 o'clock at night. The day was coming quick and fast then. It was about, I was going to say, they was all over the place. 1 minute they was 2 minutes apart, next minute they was 3 to 4 minutes apart, and they told me they need to be closer together constantly. Like continuously. I was like, I'm going to stick it out and stick it out. And I remember Sam, in the end, I was swaying on Sam. I was like, I can't do this. I can't do this. And he was just telling me, like, calm down, I'll run you a bath. He put all candles around the bath. He put all my hypnotherapy music on. And I actually stayed in that bath and I fell asleep for about 2-3 hours. And I woke up and the water was cold and the contractions just hit me again. But for them 2-3 hours, I was fine. Like, honestly, I so wish I could have had a water bath because it relaxed me so much. I just remember calling him. I think he had fallen asleep as well, and he come and got me, and this was about 2 o'clock, and he was like, okay Amy, you okay? I remember I was on top of the stairs just rocking, like leaning over the top of the stairs, and he ended up laying downstairs in a settee and went to sleep, but he had been up for ages. And I just remember calling him and he wasn't answering me, and I was just like, he's gone to sleep. I was in so much pain at this point, and I think he got to about 3, half 3, called the birth centre again, and I was telling them they're about 2 minutes apart now. That was really painful. So they told me to go in, they put me in a room, and no one come to see me for about half an hour in the birth centre. And this is what I really didn't like about that hospital, was I just got left there for about half an hour before someone actually come in and examined me. And I just remember sitting on the birthing ball, leaning over the bed like this, because I was just shattered where I hadn't slept for like 2 days. This was Friday morning, sorry. Yeah, about 4 o'clock Friday morning, someone actually come in to see me, to examine me, and I was only 3 centimetres dilated, and by this point I was in agony. I mean, I could still walk in between contractions, but they was coming thick and fast, and I wasn't expecting it to hurt that bad. And they told me, you shouldn't be laying there sleeping, you should be like moving around. And all I wanted to do was just go to sleep. I just wanted to, and I kept looking at the birthing pool in the corner of the room because they stuck me in a room with a birthing pool. And I just remember looking like, I really want to get in the pool, I really want to get in the pool. And that's all I kept saying was, I just want to get in there. I just want to get in there and I'm going to be so much more relaxed. But they wouldn't let me because I was only 3 centimetres dilated and I had to be 4 centimetres for them to keep me in. So she was like, okay, I'll come back and check on you in about an hour. It was either half an hour or an hour. And she was like, but you got to keep moving. So I was bouncing on the ball, and then in the end Sam was like, right, you're going from the window to the sink at the other end of the room, and you're going to touch the sink and then touch the window. So there I was, walking up and down, touching the sink, touching the window, touching the sink, touching the window, doing laps of the birthing room. It was actually so funny looking back at it now. In the meantime, every time you go to be examined, they take a urine sample. And the midwife come back and said that I had ketones in my urine where I hadn't been drinking a lot, and they said if that carries on showing up really high, I wouldn't be able to stay in the birthing centre. And as all women are like, they're like, no, not the labour ward, not the labour ward, like we want to stay in the birth centre. So I was like, no, I'm not going to the labour ward, I'm not going to the labour ward. So again, Sam was really good, he kept filling up my drink, telling me to drink more water, and I was drinking and drinking, and then I was obviously going to the toilet, then I was getting contractions, and I was trying to drink more water. And the last thing you want to do when you're in labour is eat and drink. Yeah, I just remember pacing up and down the room, and I just remember laughing. I can't remember what I was laughing about, but we just passing the time. And then I just remember I got to the window and I just see this other lady, pregnant lady, in the park across the road outside the hospital, and she was going from the bench to the tree, to the bench to the tree, while her husband was standing there watching her. And that really tickled me, and I'm never ever going to forget that. Me and you both, girl, we're pacing up and down trying to get this baby out. Then the midwife come back and was like, oh, why don't you just go for a walk around the hospital, go and get a coffee, walk outside and come back, because you are 3 centimetres, so you could get the other centimetre while you're still here and we can keep you in. I was absolutely shattered, to be honest, and we went and sat in the car and I fell asleep. All I wanted to do was go to sleep during labour, and really I should have kept active, not feel comfortable. And so I fell asleep for about half an hour, then we went to get a coffee, and I think about an hour or 2 passed, and I got a phone call on my mobile from the midwife and was like, I need to check your baby, Amy, can you come back? I went back and she checked me again and I was still only 3 centimetres, and she was like, you have to go home. And I really, really did not want to go home. The journey to and from the hospital was absolutely horrendous. You'll know if you've travelled to hospital in active labour and you're contracting really bad, every little bump kills, and I've never ever experienced anything like it. And every time I get in a car now, I just wince because I just remember it so well. People say forget, but I just didn't. I still remember. So yeah, I got home. I think it was about 11 or... I don't think I got home at... Yeah, about 11 or 12 I ended up getting home. And that day was just a blur. It was Friday afternoon now. I've been contracting since Wednesday night, about 9:30. So it's nearly 2 days of labour already. And at this point I think I was like, let's go to my mum's house. Sam was shattered, he needed help. I was about to leave, Sam was literally walking out the door. I was like, oh no, oh no. And I ran to the toilet. I don't even know why I ran to the toilet, because I had a pad on. It was my waters basically that went, and it just kept coming and coming. And I just remember looking and I was like, he's pooed inside me, he's pooed inside me. That's all I kept saying was, he's pooed, he's pooed. And Sam's going, how do you know that? How do you know that? I'm like, look, you can see it, you can see it. And I think I started to panic then, because they kept sending me home and I knew something wasn't right. I knew I was in a lot more pain than I should have been. So I was like, right, let's get to your mum's. So we got to my mum's. Luckily she only lives literally around the corner. Again, another awful guardian. I just remember getting there and I was just crying. I was like, I'm in so much pain, do not talk to me. And I was just zoned out. I just remember sitting on the birthing ball in my mum's kitchen while my granddad was there, and I was looking for a mouse in the kitchen, and I was just concentrating so hard on my contractions while they're looking for a mouse in the background. It's the most bizarre thing ever. I was in labour, about to give birth, and my granddad is looking for a mouse in the kitchen next to me while I'm contracting. Yeah, it was really funny. I just remember he come over to me and tried to give me a cuddle, and I was like, get off me! Get off me! My granddad left. My waters went again and I felt it and I was like, it's coming again, it's coming again. And at this point my mum was like, I'm going to call them. So my mum called the birth centre and she explained what happened, and they was like, you've got to go to triage so they can test your pads with obviously the meconium on it. So again, we've got all the stuff in the car, we got all the way to triage, and they just left me in the waiting room. And by this point I was in active labour and I was in so much pain. I've been in labour for 2 days. And I just remember I had a TENS machine on as well. Sorry, I've completely forgot about that. From Thursday afternoon I had a TENS machine on, and that really helped, by the way, if you want to get one. I really recommend them. And I just remember leaning on this filing cabinet and all these pregnant ladies sitting there. They wasn't in labour, they was obviously just coming to get their babies checked, and I'm in active labour, swinging on a filing cabinet in Sam's Christmas pyjamas with wires hanging off my back from the TENS machine, and I've got my phone in one hand trying to time the contractions and the TENS machine in the other. And honestly, my mum, in the end, my mum went in there about 10 minutes later and was like, I think my daughter's about to give birth out there. So in the end they put me through to a cubicle and the lady tried to tell me to lay down on the bed, and I was like, I'm not laying down. I cannot lay down on that bed. I was like, I'm not laying down. I'm not laying down. They took a urine sample again and she come back and said, you've got really high ketones in your urine. You need to eat and drink something. When was the last time you ate and drunk? And I was like, yesterday. Or I think Sam answered. And she was like, she went and got me a sandwich. And honestly, I was looking at it and it was the last thing I wanted to do was eat that sandwich. And I was just like, I can't eat that. I can't eat that. And she's trying to tell me to lay down still on the bed. so she can do my blood pressure and all that. And I was like, I can't lay down. I cannot lay down. I was like, I feel like I've got a baby already coming out of me. I cannot lay down. I think I ended up perched on the end of the bed like this. Looking back now, it's just hilarious, but at the time I was in so much pain. My mum showed the pads to another midwife while this was all happening, and she said, yeah, it's definitely meconium. She needs to stay here and go to the labour ward. So obviously once they've pooed inside you, you're then high risk, and you can only go birthing centre if you're low risk. And this other midwife come back and was like, yep, you can go to the birthing centre, it's fine, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, but what about the pads? She was like, what pads? And I was like, my baby has pooed inside me. My mum showed the pads to this other midwife, and she was like, no one has told me this. And at this point, I just panicked and everything set in. I just felt like I kept being fobbed off, and honestly, panic set in, and she was like, no, you're coming to the labour ward. So we was just like, she's like, I need to get you a room. So she called through and she was like, no, come with me, we've got you a room. And I just remember coming out and just seeing my mum, and I was like, it's definitely meconium. I just wanted some gas in air or something. They took me through to the room, and I just remember walking along the corridor and I was like, is it too late for an epidural? I want an epidural. Give me an epidural now. I mean, I think it had been 40 odd hours now that I'd been contracting, and I just couldn't take it no more. I was like, I've had no pain relief apart from a TENS machine for 2 days, and I just want that epidural. And I remember my mum saying, why don't you try pethidine first? And I was like, no, give me that epidural. The midwife in the labour ward was absolutely amazing. I just could not thank them enough. They was amazing. They took me straight through. She gave me gas and air. She didn't even bother checking how many centimetres I was before actually giving me gas and air. She just gave me gas and air, told me everything was going to be okay. They gave me a gown, and obviously I was in the room now. This was the room I was going to give birth in, finally. I just remember that the first couple of like puffs on the gas and air just felt absolutely amazing. Oh my god. After I'd been 2 days, 40 odd hours in labour with no pain relief, it was the best thing ever. And I just remember my mum being on the phone to my sister, and I was like, I want to talk to her. Like, I've gone from a crazy lady, like in so much pain, to I want to talk to my sister. And I was like, Maze, I feel like I'm at V Festival and all this. I was just high on the gas. The midwife was laughing, and it was just crazy. Hooked me up to a monitor, and by that point when they got the monitor on, you can see your contractions on the screen, and oh my god, they was the biggest contractions. I was only 4 centimetres at this point, and they was just like, I can't believe you've gone 2 days like this.
Hi guys, so basically my memory card decided to delete my next clip explaining what happened after, so I'm just going to fill in the gap quickly. So after they put me in the room, I got my epidural about an hour later, or I thought it was about an hour later, but it seemed really quick. Time just seemed to fly by once I got in that room. About 10 o'clock that night, Brodie's heart rate decided to drop, and the machine kept beeping, and the midwife managed to fix it, or bring his heart rate back up, by putting me on my side. But I think it was about an hour later it decided to drop again, and she made Sam pull the emergency button, and that was honestly the most scariest part of my whole labour and delivery. I had about 15 people coming into the room in the end. His heart rate just was not coming back up, and it was the most scariest thing ever. I literally felt like I was on one ball every minute. Like, you never think that's going to happen to you, and it did. They did manage obviously to bring his heart rate back up, but it did happen quite a few times after as well, but not as extreme as that. But yeah, that was really scary, and I hope it never happens again. Also, they decided to take some bloods from me just to check. They come back saying I had an infection in my womb, basically, and obviously it could go to the baby. So they put me on a hormone drip to speed up my labour. And lucky I had an epidural, because apparently it makes your contractions just 10 times worse. So I was put on a hormone drip, 3 bags of fluid, basically. Everything just turned again.
It was so scary. If you've ever been through that, you would understand. You don't know what's going to happen. Anyway, I was 9 centimetres at 2 AM, and she couldn't check me again for another 4 hours. They can't check you regularly because of infection, and my blood's already showing that I had an infection, which could obviously go to the baby, and so yeah, she didn't want to risk anything. So she was like, I'll check you again at, I think it was 6 or half 6. And obviously she checked me again at half 6, and I was 10 centimetres, so I could push. They decided I needed a paediatrician, a doctor, 2 midwives, and I think there was like nurses or something in the background as well, all at the birth while I gave birth. And as if I hadn't been through enough already, I was pushing for about 45 minutes, and then they decided they was going to use a Kiwi, which is the little suction cup things. If you Google it, Google Kiwi, it'll come up. Yeah, sorry, a bit TMI again. They had to sit there and stretch me so they could fit the little suction cup on Brodie's head. Obviously they can pull him out. I was pushing so much to try and get him out, and the midwife was like, no, Amie can push this baby out, but the doctor was like, no, we need to get this baby out now. It's been far too long. He's getting in distress. He needs to get out now. They got the suction cup on, but he kept falling off. So they decided to scrap that idea after all that, and they was going to use forceps on. And I was just like, no, this is the last thing that I wanted. Everything that I didn't want, I got with this birth. Yeah, so obviously they wanted to use forceps. So I was like, okay, I've got an epidural, it's fine. And then all of a sudden I felt a sharp scratch, and I was like, my face must have said it all, because I was like, did you feel that? And I was like, yeah, what the hell was that? And they'd cut me, they gave me a episiotomy, but someone had turned my epidural off and I could feel it. And they was like, okay, don't panic, don't panic. And they gave me gas and air, which kind of helped, but yeah, I felt all of that. They switched it back on, and obviously it kicked in straight away. And I was fine. Actually, they was dragging him out and I wasn't even pushing. At one point I was like, should I be pushing or not? And they was just pulling him out. He literally got dragged out of me. And he didn't even cry. And they put him on me and he didn't even cry. He was just looking like I was cosy in there. I didn't want to come out yet. She held him for like 10 seconds and then he had to be taken away again. He was in the little, I think it's called is it a resuscitator or something like that? Where they put the babies after they've been born and they have the little heat things coming down on them. They've got a timer on the top, and he was in there for over an hour, obviously warming up. While they were stitching me up, obviously I could feel it again, and my epidural had fouled again. And I just remember being on the gas and it felt like she was stitching me up for about 3 hours, and I was like, that is a lot of stitches, and it was making me feel funny. And she was like, no, it's fine, you just have to layer them up and you'll heal better. But anyway, she finished with all that. My baby was still over the other side of the room in the resuscitator, and Sam just went, Aim, I don't think he's going to fit in this baby grow. And because I got him a newborn baby grow from Next, it's the ones that say born in 2017, and he was like, this is not going to fit him. And I was like, the whole way through my pregnancy he was measuring small. I had to go for growth scans and everything. I want to know how much he weighed, and this was literally, I think, about 2 hours after he was born, and no one had still weighed him. So he was finally born at 7:28 AM, weighing £8.4, and it was just the most amazing thing ever. To this day, I just love him so much, and after everything that I went through, I just never want anything bad to happen to him, like as you do when you have kids. And he's honestly my world, and I never want to complain about if he keeps me up all night, or if I've had a bad day, or if he's running around the house and won't keep still. I never ever want to complain, because it could have gone a completely the opposite way and he would never have been here. I'm just so grateful for that midwife, and she knew I could do it. After he was born, they had to put a little cannula in his hand to take his blood, to check for infection. This time we didn't actually get back to the ward until about 12, I think it was about 11 or 12. And he was born at 7:30, so it's a long time to be in the labour room. And I just remember it just went so fast. And looking back now, I don't know what the hell happened between all them hours, because it just went so quickly. And the midwife was showing us my placenta, and my mum took a picture of it, and we had a new midwife. My midwife that had been with me the whole time, she was finishing at 7:30, and the new midwife was coming in. So obviously Brodie was born at 7:28, and she was so glad she got to see him born after the whole time she was there. And then she left, and then there was a new midwife that come in and had to clean up, and I felt so sorry for her because there was literally blood everywhere. It was literally all on the floor, and she had to clean that all up, like blood soaked towels and tissue, and where they'd cut me and put forceps in me. It was literally like a horror movie, my mum said. That's what you get with birth. And so yeah, she showed us like all inside the sack and everything, and it was quite interesting. But yeah, we went back to the ward, and we ended up being in hospital for 5 days afterwards because we had to wait for Brodie's culture results to come back. to see if he was clear of infection or if he had an infection. But in the meantime, they did keep us there, and we both had antibiotics to treat the infection. And that 5 days in that hospital was the worst time of my life mixed with the best time of my life. And I really hope if I have another baby that I'm in and out, because I really do not want to stay in a ward again like that. It was the middle of summer during a heat wave. Obviously the ward's got to be warm because all the little babies, you have to keep them warm because they can't regulate their own temperature that young. And I was just sweating. I had an infection anyway, and it was coming out of me like nothing. I was so uncomfortable. All I wanted to do was go home. He was there. So I gave birth on, my labour started on Wednesday night. I gave birth Saturday morning, and I didn't actually leave hospital until Tuesday afternoon the next week. Honestly, after all that, I have a completely different perspective on birth. The next time I have another baby and I go into labour, I'm going to have a complete open mind. I always tell people, if you want to have an epidural, have an epidural. No medals for going pain-free. Like, yeah, you've had no pain relief, you can say you've had no pain relief, but to go through all that pain, and I'm not going to lie, childbirth hurts. It kills. And for anyone who says it's not that bad, I would love to have your birth, because mine was absolutely awful. But you do get through it. Your body deals with it. If you want to have pain relief, have pain relief. I mean, if I had a shorter birth, I probably wouldn't have had an epidural. If I was in and out, I probably wouldn't have had one. I probably would have stayed with gas and air. But because I was in so much pain at just 4 centimetres and he had pooed inside me, I had an infection, they had to put me on the hormone drip. I was just thinking, by the time I get to push, I'm going to have no energy left from dealing with these contractions. I'm going to do what's best for me and my baby. If you do have any questions, then please leave them down below or inbox me, follow me on Instagram, DM me on Instagram. I'm happy to answer any questions. Please don't be put off by my experience. I'm just sharing with you. I mean, most videos I was watching, they didn't really have any problems. They was quite straightforward labours. So I just thought, I'm going to put my experience out there just to make people have an open mind on childbirth. My advice would be, do not have a birth plan, because it will go out the window. Just be very open-minded. Obviously if you're very set against pain relief, then that's your choice. But please have a very open mind. You never know what's going to happen. Just stay calm and hopefully everything will go fine. Thank you very much for watching. I really hope this video isn't too long. But yeah, I'd love it if you subscribe and give me a big thumbs up, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!